Hello there. What is going on, everyone? We are talking about the Bad Batch for Star Wars Legion today. Adepticon in March gave us lots and lots of news. I was talking about it just earlier this week, and one of the biggest things for Star Wars Legion was the Bad Batch. It has so many new concepts that are just, that they are going to have to address. Like, how can you fit this many heroes in a list? I want to talk about how I think they're going to do this and how this might set the stage for future wild and crazy things like the Bad Batch, or like other big groups, coming into the game. Like, I want to see the Ghost Crew show up in Star Wars Legion, and I think however they do the Bad Batch is going to be very interesting for the future of Legion. So I'm super excited on seeing how this happens. Also excited on speculating a little bit. So I want to talk with you guys and also get some of your thoughts on how you think they might work. Also, we were doing a big giveaway, talking about all the announcements and stuff like that they've had. Star Wars Shatterpoint's coming out soon. We're giving away a Star Wars Shatterpoint core set in the form of a $165 Amazon gift card. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos in order to enter to win that. I want to hear how you think they may make these guys work, and what you think that this means for the future of Star Wars Legion. If you're a Legion player or a Bad Batch fan, if you're not playing Legion yet, let me know what games you do play down in the comments section. Also, if you haven't already joined our Discord, we got a great family-friendly Discord. Links are down in the video description below. And while you're there, you can check out a link to our sponsor, Luxury Playstyle. Some cool May the 4th news. This is a big deal. Luxury Playstyle is having a massive sale on May the 4th. The discount code Crabbok VIP that normally saves you 15% is going to save you 20% for May the 4th and May the 5th. So Star Wars specific sale on all your Legion and X-Wing tokens too, because while these tokens are absolutely gorgeous, I know you've heard me talk about them, they're shiny, they're double-sided. I helped work on many of these tokens, so I especially love these things. I use them in all of my games. You are going to absolutely love them too. They make great gifts, they make great prize support, they make a great way to treat yourself or treat a loved one. You got Father's Day that's coming up too, so you might want to, you might want to go ahead and get something in advance. People, they don't do that many sales. It's very rare that they come around, so this is your opportunity. If you've been on the fence about picking up some absolutely amazing tokens, this is your golden opportunity. Use code Crabbok VIP. That's normally going to save you 15%, but for May the 4th and May the 5th, for that Thursday and Friday, you're going to save 20%. So definitely, you won't want to miss this sale. So check them out and get yourself a great full set of tokens, and it's just going to make you want to play your games that much more because they're so beautiful. So definitely check those out. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how I think the Bad Batch is going to work, because this is interesting. Now, they also announced, like, Inquisitors, and I'm mentioning that because with the Inquisitors, they said that, like, the two Inquisitors, a fifth brother and I think seventh sister, how they would use, like, one slot for operative, so you wouldn't, like, they wouldn't consume both of your operative slots, which made me think of, like, well, that's an interesting way to do it. Like, I'm curious how exactly they're going to do that, because they could have, there's a lot of different ways that you could write that in. There's entourage, which means you can add something that doesn't count against rank requirements. They may have it worded kind of like that if you have both of them. Or will it be two different minis in the same unit? And I ask these questions because these are different ways that that the Bad Batch could certainly be. Like, maybe they're all operatives, but each one allows the next one not to count against your operative limit, so you end up with, a ton of different operatives. We saw this awesome screenshot leaked at Adepticon, and they are going to be 6. Yes, they do have Omega in here as well. So you're going to be getting Hunter and Crosshair and Tick and Wrecker and Echo and Omega. So you're going to be having all 6 in the, out of the Bad Batch. Normally, that wouldn't even have any weight that you could work. You have 2 commanders, 2 operatives. And so looking at all these, are they going to be just one unit? Is it going to be a hybrid? Now, they already said this is going to be a dual faction unit. Of course, your Republic is going to be able to use these. Your Rebels are going to be able to use these. But how are they going to be able to be used? Are they going to be the same for each faction? Like, I would imagine they probably would, or probably ought to be. I mean, R2-D2 is pretty much the same. It's just the faction around them that makes them work differently. Like, one keyword might do a whole lot in one faction and may do very little in a different faction. So, I think it's that faction balance that's going to make them perform differently in each of their factions. But how is the unit going to actually work? There's a couple of interesting questions about that, and I think different ways that it could play out helps kind of explain what the next step will be, like getting other things. Like Shatterpoint has the Ghost Crew coming for it. Well, for Shatterpoint, that's not like, there's no question there. It seems pretty obvious how that's going to work. But for here, how would you want to do something like that? Or is it going to be possible to run like a heroes type of list? Like, I want Luke, Leia, Hondo, Chewie, R2, C-3PO, and like basically everybody, and you can't currently fit everybody all at once. You can get a lot of them, but not everybody, right? And so how are we going to do that here? Well, there's a couple of ways that they could do it. Now, if we're citing only from example, it might be that one of these characters might show up. Like, you could easily have Hunter as a commander. That's a possibility. I don't think that would be the case, but like you could have something like that, whereas Hunter's a commander, and maybe he's also got a mini. So you could have it where like a certain character is their own unit card. Like you could have 6 different unit cards. You could see a Hunter, or maybe Crosshair could possibly also be a commander. Maybe all the rest are operatives, or something like that. And you just pick which ones you're going to use. Maybe you can't run them all together. I don't think that's the case at all. I think, of course, you're going to be able to run them together because they are a team. They're Clone Force 99. Of course, they're a team. They're a family, and of course, you're going to be able to run them together. And it also makes me wonder if Crosshair is going to also have an Imperial card. They didn't say that, and maybe. This was designed, all developed, before that was, known. I'm not sure, but I think it's only a matter of time before Crosshair eventually gets an Imperial card. He might end up getting a whole different unit. Not sure. Also, you already have Echo in the Republic. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a whole different version of Echo because he's definitely changed, right? So I do think we're going to see something kind of like how Echo first showed up in the Republic, and that you're probably going to have heavy weapon cards for a lot of these guys. I think you're going to have that extra miniature card for a lot of these, and I think it's going to go a little bit like in how Inferno Squad or the Clan Ren Mandalorians have that you must equip these following heavies. I think it's going to be a unit that's kind of like the Bad Batch that's going to say you must equip the following heavies. The question is, are you going to have to equip all of them, or is it going to be an optional equip? And if it's an optional, like maybe you don't have to run all 6 of them. I could see that being a thing. Like maybe you have to run at least 3, but maybe it's the first unit that has like 6 whole heavy weapon slots and maybe no other upgrades. All right, that would be pretty interesting, and I could actually see Atomic Mass Games doing it that way. Like that'd be very interesting. Or maybe you run 2. Maybe you split the unit in half. That could also be a total thing, right? And maybe you just must equip 2 other Bad Batch units in each one. There's quite a few different ways to do that, and so I think that would be a fun way to do it if they kind of made it like a Clan Ren, a unit of 3, and then another unit of 3, and you can run them both together. I'd love that. I think they will end up being expensive. I think they'll end up being very, very, very powerful. I think this is going to easily be, if it's one unit that runs all these, I think you're easily looking at a 200-point unit, maybe 250, because they kind of have to be that good if it's going to be, maybe even 300 points for the whole unit. If they're going to be as good as they probably should be in relativeness to the show, basically able to accomplish any mission or something, insurmountable odds, they're the A team, so to speak. Then I think that they should be pretty darn expensive. I wouldn't be surprised if they're pushing close to 300 points after you get them all. So how will that work? And will the heavy weapon versions of these guys be able to go in other units? Like, could you run, Hunter, Echo, and Wrecker, and then run like Crosshair in a different unit, right? Can he run in like an ARC Trooper sniper team unit or something like that? Would that work? Be kind of cool. I don't know if they'll let that happen though, because they do that with certain things, but not with everything. Like if you go back to Inferno Squad for the Empire, there's a great example of like, hey, Gideon, can go in one. Like there's just all these. There's these ways where you can split off those heavies. I don't think that's going to be the case here, though. I would guess that they're all going to have to go together, or in 2 groups of 3. So I want to talk about what each of them might add. if there are individual heavies that all kind of come together, and what keywords each of them might have. So I'll start with Hunter. I think obviously Hunter's the leader, so he's going to have leader role. Maybe even courage +1 or something like that. I think that would make more sense, though. If he's the leader and if he's going to give courage, then it would make more sense if it was like the unit. Like the unit was a group of 3, so you didn't know if Hunter was going to be your leader or not. Like you'd have to have at least somebody else who could potentially be the leader. I could see him having tactical 1. So when you're moving, he gives you that free aim. Scout, he could definitely have scout. And I think he could also have possibly like his own dice. And I think each Bad Batch member would have their own dice for melee and ranged. And I think Scout would have. I think he would have melee pierce because he's got that dagger that he uses quite prominently. So I think he should have like at least pierce 1 for melee. I think he should have that, which I think that would be pretty cool. So those are some of my thoughts there. I mean, he could have he sidearm pistol. Like he could have like maybe 1 or 2 dice for ranged. I don't expect him to have that many dice for ranged, but a little bit. He seems like he should be pretty well rounded. Maybe 2 dice ranged, 2 dice melee, but they'd be maybe a red and a black with pierce 1, something like that. I feel like that would make him pretty respectable. Crosshair, I think Crosshair is pretty simple. Range 5 sniper, possibly, or maybe infinite range sniper. You could make him an infinite range sniper. You don't have many of those, but it's possible. And I mean, I could also see him having marksman or sharpshooter, or maybe both. Like range 5, maybe lethal, like that could work. Or a pierce 1 for ranged. It's definitely possible. But nothing particularly special for melee, I don't think. I don't see him adding much to melee. Tech is an interesting one because obviously I imagine Tech would be a little bit like the C-3PO role. He'd have repair, maybe a really high repair number, like maybe repair 3, or repair 2, capacity 3, or something like that. Something, a really good repair option. And since, hey, we're starting to see more stuff with Cody and vehicle builds and stuff like that, that could be a very good thing. I feel like Tech would have, at least, a well-balanced, ranged and a little bit of melee. I could also see him having something like danger sense, like some other keyword, so he's not only useful in a vehicle build. And I think he's somebody that would have a pretty good danger sense idea. Because he's got them goggles on, he can see the danger coming. He's going to analyze the mission beforehand more so than anybody else. So he maybe just danger sense 1. I mean, they're probably going to have red defense dice as a unit anyway. So danger sense 1 could be pretty darn strong on these guys. And the thing is, if each of them is adding to the unit, when they do eventually take wounds, it's going to be a tough time deciding who takes the wound. Because I'm like, gosh, which one of my Bad Batch guys am I going to lose? Because each of them adds something really important to the unit. Like if Tech goes, oh man, I'm going to lose danger sense. If Crosshair goes, I'm going to lose my sniping capability or lose marksman for the whole unit. So like pretty cool things like that, which I think would be fun. Wrecker would be really fun. I could see Wrecker having like Dauntless and maybe Indomitable. I think Indomitable would be a really good one for him. And I can see him, having a pretty standard ranged attack pool, but a larger melee attack pool, like maybe 3 red for melee for him, or something kind of like that. I could see him doing that. That could be fun. Yeah. So I like that idea of Wrecker being the big melee threat, or maybe he gives him charge. So that's a fun idea for Wrecker. Just give the whole unit charge. Just go in there and boom, boom, boom. I'd love it. I would love it. Let's talk about Echo, who's already in the game. I think he would probably borrow a little bit of what he's already got. Like maybe reliable 1, critical 1. It depends on what their surge chart is going to be. I would imagine they'd probably be similar to a lot of clones, and maybe they don't get any surges. So if he's giving you reliable 1 and critical 1, that would be good. Maybe lethal 1, kind of borrowing some of the keywords that Echo has already, but maybe he's got something new. He's changed, right? Maybe he doesn't have that same sniper, capability that the existing Echo has. He's got the one, mechanical arm now. Maybe you give him Ion 1, right? So if they do get a, maybe impact and ionize or something like that, so he has the ability to give you some added anti-vehicle stuff, but also providing the critical one and reliable one for the unit as a whole. I feel like that could work really well for him. He could be a good anti-vehicle option for the crew. It's just a thought. Just a thought. I want to hear some of your thoughts too. And then we got Omega, who is just adorable. Dude, shouldn't she have Inspire 1? Right? Like anybody near her is like, come on, everybody, we can go, we can do it, we can win. Like I feel like she's the Inspire one. Like that would totally all right, everybody else nearby is just like, yeah, we don't have to panic. If this little kid can do it, then we can do it too. By the way, I can't believe they're taking Omega into a battlefield again. But with her little bow too, she could have a little ranged attack. Not much for melee. Maybe no melee attack on Omega. I'm not sure. But give her suppressive for ranged. I feel like that works. That give the whole, this way she's firing that stuff in there. Maybe she doesn't do much damage, but she adds suppressive to the attack pool. Something good like that. It'd be pretty cool. I do expect though that she'll probably be the first one you start assigning wounds to. You might even have some kind of like the child kind of thing where if Omega dies, then they leave something behind, and then it's like a victory point for somebody else. I could see them kind of treating her in the same way they treat Grogu for Din Djarin. So I don't know if you want to give the first wound to her. They might do something kind of weird like that. But those are some of my thoughts on how the Bad Batch might look. We'll have to see if any of my predictions came true once we eventually get this. This is, from what I understand, this isn't like just around the corner, though. This is probably going to be a few months out until we start getting real spoilers for this. Although I could be wrong. May the 4th can often bring us surprises. So those are some of my thoughts. Also wonder if they're going to have a special rule about leaders. The whole leaders morphing into somebody else. I never liked that, and I would hate for somebody just force choked Hunter. But hold on, now Wrecker just morphed into Hunter, or something like that. So I wonder if they'll have some kind of special leader rule that might allow Hunter to die first, and then somebody else becomes the leader. I don't know if they'll do something like that or not. It might be too cumbersome. Might not be worth all the effort to rewrite a whole rule just to give you some cool options with this particular squad. Either way, it's going to be a really cool squad. Can't wait to see how it works out, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing Clone Force 99 in action. I want to hear what your thoughts are, though. What do you guys think? Was there anything that maybe I missed that you think that should be included in some of the speculation for these guys? You can also share that stuff in our Discord. We have some great content in there. Great family-friendly Discord. A lot of painting submissions in the painting contest going too. I'm going to leave that going for a little bit longer, but definitely check it out while you're there. I will talk to you guys later. I want to thank you all so much, and big thanks to my patrons. You guys are super awesome and help make this channel possible. Thank you for your continued support. I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. So say we all, and this is the way.